Good morning. You know I get up to anything and everything. Well, this morning I'm going to make some scones with Rodney. Rodney, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
little bit camera shy. I've thrown this out on him. But anyway, I've got to tell you, I'm at the Watermark on the Strand in Townsville. Absolutely beautiful. And we came here yesterday for dinner last night. But before we had dinner yesterday afternoon, because I had so many meetings going on here with some of the locals, Rodney was great and brought out some scones. And I thought, wow, I wouldn't leave last night unless I had the recipe, and I kept asking for this recipe. So anyway, Rodney, after he'd finished his shift, came out and sat down and spoke to me, and he said, this is how you do it. And I thought, show me, I want to see how you actually do it, and hence we're going to share it with you, because I tell you what, they are the best scones I have ever had. And you were telling me...
Usually I don't share the recipe, but I'll share it with you.
I know you're sharing it with everyone, the world virtually.
That's right.
Good on you. And grandmother's recipe?
Yeah.
Okay, very simple and easy. You said about 4 or 5 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, about 5 minutes it'll take us and 12 minutes to cook.
Fantastic.
So,
okay,
easy.
All right, let's start. And you tell me how you make your scones.
All right, well, we'll start with some self-raising flour.
Okay, so what's in here? You've got about, what?
Oh,
about
it'll be...
4 cups?
Yeah, about 4 cups, yeah.
Something like that. So start with that.
So a pinch of salt. So we better make sure that's the salt. So a bit of salt. That's the sugar. So a bit of salt, sugar, and a little bit of extra baking powder, just for a bit of extra rise.
So that's baking powder, not your bicarb soda.
Not bicarb, no.
Right, okay. And so this will make about how many scones?
Well, this should make about 10 to 12.
All right.
Yep.
So you can cut down the recipe if you only want about half a dozen.
Yeah.
So just cut it down.
So then we've just got some butter cut up. Usually just soften it a little bit, just so it rubs in a bit easier. And
it's basically the same as when you're doing your dough, because I make my own dough.
Yeah.
And you
well, with dough you wouldn't use self-raising flour. So you'd use plain flour.
Do you use plain? I always use self-raising flour.
For tarts and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'd use plain flour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you don't really want
Sorry?
doughs to rise. You want them to stay fairly flat and crisp. So.
Okay. But do you put baking powder or soda?
No.
Baking powder in it?
No.
You don't, just plain flour?
Yep.
Right, okay. Well, that's not what they taught me at school.
Really? Okay, so then you just rub the butter in.
All right, do you want me to do it?
Yep, go for
Okay, so now you tell me if I'm doing it just like this. You do it light, don't you? And
Well,
just rub it like that. All
there's
right.
a couple of methods. Like you can use your fingertips and just get it all in like that, or you can rub it in your hands like that.
Well, that's how I used to.
Yeah.
That's how I normally do it. Right.
So either way is good.
So till it goes like
until the butter's
it goes
right
like
through the
breadcrumb, doesn't it? Yeah. And this is pretty much how you make your own dough. So instead of pastry, I should say. Hi guys, g'day. So
Townsville.
very friendly up here. So it's right. I hope they don't come back and want a lesson in making this. I tell you, So, all right.
Okay. Keep going until there's no lumps left.
Yeah, well, that's how I actually do my, like I said, pastry. Very simple to make your own pastry at home. So instead of going buying your sheets, same method, and then you just put in, of course you put your sugar in, sometimes I put an egg in that as well.
Yeah.
Your egg yolk and put your milk.
Yeah, I put a little bit of vanilla in there as well, just to give it a bit of flavour.
And do you use your milk for your pastry, or some put cold water?
Yeah, it depends on what the pastry's for.
How's that? That's not too bad.
Yep.
You happy with that?
That's good.
All right. Gotta do it
Okay,
right.
so just a bit of a well.
Yeah.
And then some milk and cream. So we'll go half cream, half milk. So this is the part where, you sort of guess what you're going to need.
Well, that's quite a thick cream, isn't it? It's not a pouring cream.
Yeah, you could use either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So I think that's pretty close to enough. And then
Yeah.
we just use a knife to bring it all together.
All right.
Just,
now this is where your secret was.
Yeah,
you said
well,
you don't mix.
I'll just show
right,
you.
you show me. Good.
Like, you sort of
Okay.
bring it in, and then just
So
combine
just
it
tip
like
it up what you're showing, how you just round the edges. And that might be because I know with
Well, it
doing
just
dough,
doesn't-
you can't
It
handle
doesn't
very
stretch
much.
the dough as much. So
Yeah, so you've got to be very light with it, yes. And would this be very similar to making your damper as well?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think any dough that you want to rise, you know, well, except for bread, but these sort of doughs, just don't handle them too much. Once you get it to about that stage,
Yeah.
you can get your hands in there and like you got to feel whether there's enough moisture in there because nothing's weighed, so
It feels.
it's close.
What do you think? A little bit more fluid to it? A
No,
little bit dry.
no,
That's
not at
right.
all.
That's right. Yeah.
So we just
And
virtually
you
bring
don't
it
handle
together.
it
Not
very
too
much at all.
No.
Yeah.
But you still have to, you know, make sure you combine the flour. Make sure you combine it properly. But that's a good amount of liquid in there, if you feel that.
Yeah. Just firm with that. So if you put your hands on that, your fingers don't sort of it doesn't
Yeah.
stick to your
Yeah,
fingers.
you don't
and
want it sticky.
No, you don't want it sticky.
But
Yep.
you need enough so it's not floury. That's
All right. No worries.
All right, and I don't really need it much after that. Like, I've virtually combined
Yeah.
it pretty well. So I just, you know, make sure, you know, the edges are a bit even, just so you get enough scones out of it. And I just press it out.
See, they're very quick and simple to make, and especially when you have unexpected guests turn up, don't you?
Oh, very easy.
And just throw it in the oven. You've got something there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about the thickness that you want.
Yeah.
So then just cut them out.
So it's very simple and easy, and I think everyone should have a go at this. It's great, and I tell you what, they are fantastic scones. And I think what you told me last night, and I've never made the scones with the cream in it, and I think
Yeah.
that's made all the difference.
Yeah, I think it just
with it.
adds a little bit to it, you know.
But I've got to tell you what, the food last night was absolutely beautiful. Everyone that was here,
Yeah.
you know, it's excellent. Actually, my son is the chef.
Yeah, you told me last
He
night.
was actually in it for around about 15 years, and he's burned out
Yeah.
from doing the long hours. So I can understand, you know, it's
Well, I've
long
been doing
hours.
it for about 32 years now,
Yeah,
so I'm not quite burnt out yet. I still enjoy it. So
yes.
I think as long as you enjoy,
So
you know, what you're doing.
who would you say is the a person, okay, a well-known
Mm-hmm.
person that you've actually cooked for?
Well,
It's been
Pauline
Can you-
Hanson.
making scones with Pauline Hanson, but you haven't done that with too many people.
Well, I haven't really cooked for that many famous people. We've had the Prime Minister here, and a few,
That's right.
yeah, a few politicians have been in here, but you know, I don't really. As far as I'm concerned, everyone that I cook for is the same. So
That's great.
whether they're well known or not, I don't really care.
Well, I remember my son, he was at Airlie Beach and he was working up there, and he said, you won't believe it, he said, I cook for Nicole Kidman and the others. So he said it was really good, and they said they complimented his food, and of course they
Yeah.
eat in, what I'm saying is they eat in different restaurants all over the place, and to actually get a compliment about your cooking.
For sure.
And
I think it's nice to get compliments from anybody.
Yeah, that's
it
really
makes
nice.
it-
I like that
It
attitude.
makes it worthwhile.
Yeah. All right, now what we've got to do, you've got another one in that. We can't waste anything.
Okay.
I don't waste anything. So you brush the top,
Yep.
Okay.
Just brush them with milk.
right? So just straight milk.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Brush the top,
Yep.
and we'll get these into the oven, or you will. You're going to
Yeah.
take them, and
Yep, straight
about,
into the oven.
About 12 minutes
About 12
time.
minutes on 190.
Yep. On 190.
Yep.
So the oven has to be hot when you put it in.
Yeah,
right?
it's got to be preheated.
It's got to be preheated.
Yep. You just missed one there.
Oh, did I? Really?
Yeah, that one.
I think I had it. I don't miss much, I can tell you. Listen, you run off.
All right.
And you put them in the oven. Then we're coming back. We've got jam and cream here, and we're going to have a cup of tea. Tell Danny I want a tea this time.
All right, sounds
And I'm
good.
going to have scones and tea. Fantastic. I'm so happy about that. Well, I've been up here since Thursday, and I'll tell you what I've been up to. We actually went out to the Charters Towers, spoke to the farmers out there. What they're going through is they're looking at the government taking their land for the Singaporean army. Now we're talking about hundreds of thousands of acres of land. You've got families that have been out there for years. One lady was born on the property 57 years ago, and you've got generations coming through that want to continue with their farming. This land is prime agricultural land, and we're talking about, all the properties combined will actually send in about 15,000 head of cattle a year to the markets or for export. So you imagine huge income. And these properties are butt onto the already Townsville Army base. So all these prime agricultural lands here, and then you've got Charters Towers just down below. The impact it is going to have on Charters Towers will be enormous, because here we have farming families that will be there for a long, long time, but the Singaporean army will only be there for 25 years. So are we going to sell out these farmers for a short period of time, destroying families and possibly, and I can see that the destruction of a town, businesses, because the farming families, and actually one farming family, so they inject $1.4 million a year into the economy. So you can see transport, feed, stock, manufacturing. Also, there's a flow-on effect, and then you have the tractors, the equipment that they need. So you see what I'm talking about. And then you won't have the kids in the area going to school, so schools will close down. That will affect other families there because you're not having the people come through. So what I'm looking at, and it makes sense to actually put the base further down an hour south of Charters Towers. One property owner wants to sell his property. He's got about 400,000 acres, and I think that would be a great compromise. We'll have the Singaporean, which will inject just over $2 billion into our economy, 14,000 soldiers. Remember, they're only here 12 to 18 weeks a year, so it's not much at all. So I'll be talking to the other senators about this, and if I need to, I will actually talk to the Prime Minister with regards to this. The right decision has to be made. Don't destroy these farming families. We need these producers on the land for food for Australia. I also had a meeting with the sugarcane growers. They are absolutely at a stage where their whole industry may be devastated. So they need assurances with ongoing agreements with the sugar mills, which all the sugar mills up here are actually foreign owned by Wilmar. So they have to have these ongoing assurances that they can actually get their product to the market and to the mills. So these are issues they're saying, no one's listening to us, they don't know where to go, and it's very important to speak to these people, understand what their problems are, and hopefully make some differences. I'm actually going to hopefully get in touch with Barnaby Joyce on Monday and take it to and say, Barnaby, what are you doing about their ongoing agreement? Apparently it was supposed to be signed up. Barnaby assured them it will be by Christmas Day. They haven't heard anything, and so a fella said, this is my whole life. He said, I'm just so fed up with the whole lot. We don't seem to get a voice at all, and we're being destroyed. And they feel that they're possibly trying to destroy the sugar industry. I hope that's not the case, because that injects so much money into our economy, and especially up here. When you go north, Mackay, that's all sugar country, Mackay, Bowen, all up to Innisfail, towns all around here. So the Buderim, so it's all sugar country, and it injects so much money into the economy. Well, if you have a look at the shirt that I'm wearing, Motorsport Precinct. right from the very start, prior to the election, I said, guys, I'm going to go out there and I'll work for you to actually get money, you know, that you can get your motorsport precinct up and running. So that's the frontage shirt, and that's the back. And what they're wanting to do, it's not only the motorsport precinct, it's also a defensive driving course as well. So all those emergency services, whether ambulance, police, all these emergency services, instead of the guys up here having to go to Brisbane to do their training, they can all do it up here, so they don't have to travel to Brisbane and away from their families. It will save a lot of money if we have it here. Now, what I'd like to also see is first-time licence holders in Australia, driver's licence holders in Australia, must do a defensive driving course as part of their initiation to actually get their licence. It's a must. As I've heard, As I have heard, there's an increase in deaths on the road, and I think that if people are trained how to handle a car in conditions, whether they're weather conditions, or how to handle that car in times of an accident or anything like that, I think that's important. That's what I'd like to actually see happen. That's where the motorsport precinct, and they agree with my policy on this, and I've been pushing this for years and years. I wish the governments would actually take it up. I believe it will save lives. So, what we've, so look, I can't point out enough. If you haven't been to Townsville, come and look at the city. It's the Strand here is right on the waterfront. It's a beautiful place. You've got the park straight across the road. It's utilised by the people quite a lot. A lot of the tourists come here, and they've got park, they've got barbecues. You've got a casino that's just down the road. You've got, and then you can go and visit inland into Charters Towers and go on there to Hughenden or Richmond and to Mount Isa, or you can go north for about 3.5 hours drive to Cairns. So there's a lot here, or go a little bit south and you can go to Airlie Beach. So a lot that you can actually do up here. They need the tourism up here. The whole city needs help. They need injection. You also have problems up here with, I hate to say it, but there is, crime up here, and they need an injection of employment because they've had a big problem with the closure of the nickel mine, the Queensland nickel. But I spoke to the fellow who's in charge of that now, so they're looking at opening in June, July next year. So that is great news for the area. And of course, if the Adani mine goes ahead, which I believe it is going to go ahead, that is also going to give this area a big injection, and through Queensland. So I was pleased to actually have had a meeting with the CEO of Adani mine, that was a couple of months ago, and raised the issue, the environmental issues, with the Senator Cormann when I went down there to actually try and address what they were going through. Well, the scones shouldn't be too long anyway. If you don't know, you haven't read the papers, we're actually launching tomorrow in Brisbane 36 of our candidates so far. So right from Coolangatta up to Cairns, I'm actually so excited about it. This is the biggest thing for me in One Nation since 1998, apart from winning 4 seats in the Senate this year. I'm getting a lot of support from people across Queensland who are fed up with the major political parties. They want someone who's out there working for them, who is listening to them. And I think with One Nation on the floor of Parliament in the state, I've got a lot of policy ideas, issues how we can get the state moving, get the rural and regional areas, give them support. And I'm not going to expose my policies now. Usually I find that the others come along and pick up my policies along the way. So anyway, they will come out, the policies, over a period of time. But the candidates tomorrow, so I'm going down there with them. I'm going to give them a good, have a good talk with them. And I haven't met all of them. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. I just want to clear up some things that is actually happening as well. Now, I voted for the ABCC. Now, I know I've got some construction workers who aren't happy about that. What I'll say to you is, and you know if you work on a construction site, you know the bullying, the corruption, the thuggery, and the intimidation that actually happens on these sites, and especially with subcontractors or other businesses. And when I sat down and spoke to a lot of these small businesses, they were saying, Pauline, we're just about ready to shut down a business. We can't cope with this anymore. Or a business says, well, you can work here, mate, but listen, we want a $5,000 cheque from you because these people out here aren't part of the union, so write out a cheque. Oh, on top of their wages, they actually had to then pay into their superannuation fund for the workers on top of their wages. And a lot of these business, they pay above the award wage because they want good workers. Now, we had to shut this down. I will not stand for corruption or bullying. And I'll tell you the truth. One of the delegates from the union came to see me, and I listened to everyone, what they had to say. And he said, and I said, you're no angel. And he said, okay, admit, we're not. We need to clean up our act. Yes, something needs to be done about it. So they knew that. They knew what was going on. But also, there's another reason behind all this. If we don't clean up this act, what is going to happen is that we won't have businesses here wanting to work on these sites. They're shutting down. They won't be putting in Australian workers. And then on top of that, we're going to have foreign investors coming in Australia, bringing in their own workers, as we are seeing with the 457 visa holders and other visa holders. So what I'm trying to do is protect Australian jobs. And just to finish on this note, I did vote with the Labor Party in their amendment to actually, the 457 visa holders have to advertise over a longer period of time, and it is written into the agreement as well, they have to utilise Australian workers first. So I hope that now you have a better understanding why I have voted for the ABCC bill. And we've got to stop the increase in costs, because these building sites, you the taxpayer, were paying about 25 to 30% more on these building sites because of the corruption that was going on and the take. So I had my reasons why. I will not be able to please everyone. I can't help that. But I go out, research the whole thing. I try and find a balanced, fair decision to make. So that's the way it is. Well, I wonder where these scones are. They shouldn't be too long. Coming up. I'm getting hungry. I'm looking for my cup of tea, my scones. I've got the jam and cream here. So people are very concerned it's coming up now, and the unions are actually trying to throw out there that I'm actually supporting a cut to the pensions. That's not true at all. I know there is changes to the pensions, and it's based on their assets test. I can't explain it full to you because I'm not right across it, and I know that they're actually talking about it. So once I know the facts, I will inform you so that you know. But I am and I always have supported the pensioners, and we actually have to look after the pensioners. I've spoken to quite a few and they said, please don't touch our pensions. We are struggling now to actually cope and pay for everything. And I know cost of living is extremely hard. What I do intend to do is to catch those rorters, those ones who are using aliases, ripping off our system, the taxpayer system. If we don't start reining in our welfare system, people who are abusing it and taking whatever they can out of it, you and me and those that are needy of everyone, we're going to have to be paying more taxes, because I know what the government will want to do is increase the GST, more cost to us. We can't afford this. Businesses will get their GST back. Be sure of that, but everyday Australians will be hit with a higher GST. We've got to rein in our spending, rein in government spending, and I'd like to actually, and I've said this all along, get rid of former Prime Ministers who are on the payroll. We're paying them $600,000 a year, their gold passes, their officers, their staff. That has to go. It has to stop. I do not see why we, the taxpayers, paying for half a dozen of these former Prime Ministers to be on the payroll when they can demand huge costs back. Hey, hang on a minute. Stop the scones. Wow. Wow. See what I mean?
12 minutes later.
Fantastic. They are great. Well, if you haven't got the recipe, rewind, watch it again, and this is the end result. I tell you what, they're fantastic, Rod. They really are. Hey, listen, guys, I'm about to have my scone and my cup of tea. So anyway, cheers. Talk to you later.